Welcome to FIFA Save My Life. Thank you very much for joining me today on this lovely sunny day, depending when you're watching this video. But the paradox may be it's still sunny, or it might not be, who knows. So welcome to FIFA Save My Life. Today is going to be
Tactics Tuesday.
Yes, we have Tactics Tuesday. It is back by request. We have a request due to the fact that I have someone actually watching the videos. Thank you, that one viewer. We have a request saying, Ben, you have amazing eyes. I wish I could see more. No, that's a different one, sorry. We have a guy called Tommy. He has sent one in asking if I could do a 4-2-3-1. You have the best tactics on YouTube, hands down. Get in. Thank you very much for that, Tommy. And as requested, I am going to do you a Tactics Tuesday 4-2-3-1 today. So let's get underway. Before I do so, make sure you hit a like and a subscribe. That would mean a lot to me because I give 50% of my profits to charity. I give them to Mind, the charity for mental health and well-being. So there you go. And I've just pulled my headphones off. Wow. Ow, that hurt. It's all going well. So let's do Tactics Tuesday. So this one you will see I had in a draft actually. So I just thought while I'm in the draft, while I was recording a draft, I will do the tactics that I use for myself on and off as a 4-2-3-1. So let's get on with it. So first of all, we go into the defensive tactic. We are looking at balanced, guys. I would definitely not do anything other than balanced. Drop back is... It's bad. You get pinned into your own half an awful lot if you do drop back. I don't like playing drop back. I like being an offensive player if possible as well. That's the way the game should be played. I think a weekend league, okay, sometimes you need drop back. If you're defending a 2-1 lead and with 10 minutes to go, I understand that. But I think to start negatively... that's not a word. To start negative is probably not the way to go. So I would go balanced. That gives you the best of everything that's going on and lets the AI decide how your defenders defend. We've got width. So we have width there, guys. You can see that's at 5 as defensive. So that's more than enough to defend and keep a nice straight back 4. We've got depth-wise. I also have... I either can have 4 or 5. I like 5 because it gives you offensive to start with. So a 5, you're not drop back too far. I think if you do, drop back 1 is terrible. I wouldn't advocate that at all. Drop back 2 or 3, it depends on how good you are. But I would certainly say 4 or 5 gives you a chance of getting the first goal. And as we know in FIFA, I think if you can get the first goal, you're on a winner. You've got a chance, you've got a psychological advantage, and you're on a winner, really. So I think if you keep your depth at medium, which is 5, I think you've got a chance then of getting your first goal and being offensive and catching them certain on the break. And that comes into the offensive style, which is also fast build-up. Now, I've used long ball and balanced. Now, balanced I like a lot because you really get the best of everything. But with this formation, what you do is you have one striker up front who's stood up front. You've got your cam, which you'll see in a minute, that will come forward and also act kind of as a striker. And you've got your 2 sort of other cams that are kind of wingers / midfielders. So you're kind of only on 2 attacking, where other formations I've shown you, you've got 4 or 5 attacking at the same time, and it's quite an attack-minded formation. Now this is the formation a lot of pros use. You'll see an awful lot of pros use, and the reason I use it from time to time is because of the class of player that you're playing. If you want to play a certain type of player, I find that this is a far better formation than sort of my normal 4-4-2 or something like that. I go for fast build up. Now the reason I go fast build up, like I said, if you're on the break, you want them to be ready and you want them to be pushing that back line. You've only got one pushing from the front line, and you want the other midfielders to be pushing forward slightly as well, quicker than waiting for you to sort of break. Depends on the speed of your players as well, but I think fast build-up works really well with this formation. We've got width. Again, keep it, as I always say, if ideally sort of similar to what you've got. But in this sort of formation, I would say give your width bigger. Now, the reason I say go to, say, 7 width, and I go to 7 width, is because when you're breaking out, you want to have alternatives. And as I said, you've got the 2 down the centre, and then what you've got is your 2 kind of winger come midfielders, and you'll see how we prepare them and how we sort of instruct them during games. But you've got those 2 as well. Now, what you want is an outlet to pass the ball to quickly. If you can't pass in the middle because you're outnumbered, you've got 4-2 in the middle, what you need is somewhere to pass to, and the best option is out on the wings. Now, you don't have wingers and you're not having wing backs pushing forward, so you've got to have those guys coming out. So I would push them wider, and that gives you more scope to pass, which is why I have a 7 in that. In the box, I have a 5, nice easy 5. The reason being, again, it gives you scope to move during the game. If you're struggling and you need a goal, you can push it up. If you are holding a lead, you can push it down during the game. But during the game, to start with, you've got to go on the mindset that you're going offensive and you're going to get that first goal. That's the way I play. That's the way a lot of the pros play, is with the mindset of, I'm not going in to defend the game. I'm not going into, oh God, they've got a great team. They've got team of the year, team of the season, Mane or something like that. It's, I'm going to win this game and I'm going to get the first goal by doing it. And that's kind of what you've got to kind of have with your tactics and that kind of thought with it. So yeah, players in the box, I would go 5. That gives more than enough. That gives you your striker, your cam, and your other 2 coming through. Now, again, as always, and as I always say in these videos, is what instructions we put on the players will override that, but that gives us scope to have that happening. Corners, free kicks, up to you guys, but I always put 1 because, to be fair, you don't get an awful lot from them. They're a bit of a waste, aren't they? So there you go. So we've got instructions. So let's start up front. Obviously, I've got Ronaldo here, which isn't my Ronaldo. Like I said, this is a draft, so it was nice and easy to do at the same time, without messing around and sort of trying to justify my players in there. But we are going to have this. So we have stay central, because with the striker, you need to know where he is. If he's off to the left and off to the right, you're going to be searching for him. What you need to do is get familiar with the formation and then know where he's going to be. So stay central is definitely a thing. I always put get behind, because I always getting behind. Now, sometimes it's a pain because they're caught offside on a regular basis. Now, I know my son has Jamie Vardy, 95 rated tots Jamie Vardy, and he's caught offside all the time. Now, if that's happening and you've got a player that is caught offside more often than not, I would just change that down to balanced, and that's up to you. But I would certainly have that in getting behind, because it's encouraging to look for that run. If you've got a smart striker, they will look to get in behind more so than get caught offside. And stay forward, because again, you want that outlet. You don't want to have everybody defending, because that's not the way you're playing. You're playing to score a goal here, guys. So we go to Kaká. Kaká is our central cam. So with Kaká, again, the idea with Kaká is he's going to be our second striker. So he's going to go into the box. He's going to be the guy who's making the runs late, getting the crosses. When the crosses are coming in from the 2, sort of cam wingers type players, he will be the guy sort of running in late, hopefully heading it in, volleying it in, and getting some more goals than just a striker. So I have stay forward on him. I have get in the box for the cross. and then obviously free roam. Free roam is really important, mainly because it messes up the AI. Any game that you have, any formation that you choose, or if you just take parts of this formation and then come back and sort of add it to your own and take some advice. This is how I've got so good at doing formations, is I've watched an awful lot of videos. There's some very good videos out there, and a lot of them I take advice from and then add to my formation. And one of the best bits of advice I ever had is a cam, just one cam, always on free roam. I always have him as central as well, because then he can go left and right. But it messes up the AI. They don't know where he's going to be. So you don't need him to be central, because you've got Ronaldo central, so he's in front. So Kaká will be just drifting left, right, back, forwards, in the box, right next to Ronaldo, by the side of Ronaldo. He will be drifting all over the place. So the AI for the defenders won't quite know where he is until he got the ball or until he scored. So it's a great way of keeping the other team on its toes by having one as free roam. Now, don't have all three as free roam, because it becomes an absolute mess. I've tried it and it does not work. So on the two wingers, or we'll call them wingers, but winger cams if you like, this is what we have. So we have come back and defend. Now, come back and defend is really important on that one, because again, you want him joining in the midfield. You don't want them being useless and sort of just being stuck up front. You want them coming back and filling in that gap between what you can see now is Varane and Walker. You want him filling in that gap, but you also want them pushing forward. So getting behind, come back for defence, doesn't mean that they stay back in defence. It means when they get the opportunity, they will drop back and fill in the gaps, and that's really helpful. But make sure you have guys who have stamina for that. Now, with TOTS, there's a lot of guys out there with 99 stamina, so you should be able to find easily someone with that. But that's why we have come back on defence on that one, and it fills in a gap and makes your team far more stable, guys. We've got get in the box for crosses. So again, of course, you want them to be attacking. Otherwise, you've only really got Kaká and Ronaldo, and that sounds brilliant, but it isn't in real life. So we've got get in the box crosses. We've got stick to position. Like I said, these aren't free roamers. And again, obviously, interception you want on default. Now you need that on both what would be Riquelme and Zidane. You want them both on exactly that. Come back and get into the box. That is your two winger kind of players. Then we've got the two holding midfielders, which is the bit I like about this formation. I really do. I always have them on cut pass lanes, especially if they're decent holding midfielders, because they step in front, and what they do is they look for the pass and they take it. Now, again, I know for you, it might be frustrating when you play against someone with it, because you've made a really good pass and you see, a holding midfielder just step out, take the ball, and then, you're on the break. That's the idea for you guys, is you want to do the same. So they are looking for the opportunity to cut the lanes of passing and basically allow you, with the quick build up that we talked about earlier on, to then break. So again, this is quite a fast, aggressive formation, and like I said, this is why the pros use it. So you've got cut lane passing. Obviously, you want the guy to stay back. You don't want him to drop between defenders, because then there's a hodgepodge of everybody in the box. So you got that, and then obviously cover centre as well. So you want a cover centre. Now that's the same for both of them. I know some people have different ones on different things, and that I don't. I like them uniformed. I just know that both of those are holding in the midfield. They do drip venture forward occasionally. You do see them sort of come up and next to Kaká and that when they're when they've cut a lane, they will come up, and that's great. But the other one will definitely stay behind then and sort of cover for you. And then you got your defenders, which nice and easy. Your right and left back, you want stay back while attacking, and overlap. Now, the reason we have overlap is if you're changing it in game and you do have need to move your right and left back, attacking fullbacks, then overlap is the best way for this, because you do have Zidane and Riquelme. Otherwise, again, they'll get in the way, and it allows, with the comeback for Zidane and the comeback for Riquelme, it will allow them to almost drop into the place and cover whilst Walker and Roberto Carlos goes up front. But always stay. I would always start with a flat back four and not looking to attack too much from that. The safety in keeping yourself, sort of clean sheets whilst getting a win. And again, goalkeepers, don't forget this. A lot of people I talk to forget to do this on the goalkeepers. Come for crosses, depending on the goalkeeper, but most goalkeepers are good at coming for crosses now. But they certainly come for crosses because, again, you clear the ball, especially from corners, because we know how bad corners are. But certainly have sweeper keeper. I've got the likes of Stegen in goal for me. I've got Tots to Stegen, and he sweeper keeper brilliantly. He comes out, he saves 2 or 3 attacks. If they pop it over the top and the defence are slow to react, he will come in and sweep it up quickly and save yourself a goal. So that is how you do it. That is the idea behind it. So again, like I said, during the game, visualize this. You've obviously got, you can see down there that you've got, your Ronaldo, Kaká, Riquelme, Zidane, Varane, Erasmo. You've got Roberto Carlos, Marino, Sol Campbell, and Walker there. The defense is a flat back four. Your holding midfielders are there, so you've pretty much got 6 to defend, but you've got 4 attacking with the occasional sort of joiner from holding midfielder. So those 4, but you're going safety first in the fact that you're not letting goals in, because you're quite it is a very good formation for both defensive and attacking. And again, I keep on saying, but that's why the pros use it. So you can use, it's great at stopping people from scoring, but it's so good on the break that you get a nice V. It's like a flying V of Riquelme, Kaká, Zidane and Ronaldo up front going forward, and they will go like that, and they will, in a pincer movement, they will get in the box, and one of them, with the fact that you've got 5 getting in the box, one of them will have a nice opportunity to shoot, cut back, etc. and score. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is how I play with the 4-2-3-1. Really love this formation. I actually swapped to it again this weekend league and got myself gold 2. I was struggling a bit in between. I was using 4-4-2 and quite enjoying it. 4-4-2, again, I'll do a video on that soon. I really enjoy that. It's a bit of a free-for-all. It can go either way. You can either really win by about 4 or 5 goals, or you can lose by a lot. But it was good fun. But I wanted to then sort of get some wins on the board, and I swapped myself to 4-2-3-1, and it worked an absolute treat. So that is how I use 4-2-3-1. Again, obviously, if you've got any feedback or if you want any sort of formations, let me know. And thank you very much for supporting us as well, guys. Take care of yourself, and if you can, find someone who can. Bye bye.